Connecting.
Oh.
Sending data.
I should not have that selected. Here we go.
Okay, that is set up. CVR is streaming. Waiting on Twitch. Please turn that off.
I thought we were supposed to have it on. My bad.
Not yet. I'm waiting for Twitch to get wakey.
Alright.
By the way, did you guys change how the keyboard worked? Because when I was logging in, it kind of felt really good to use.
On Twitch.
I think that's just like... What's the effect called? It's just like... placebo effect, I guess? I don't know.
Okay.
Did the
Twitch
keyboard change?
Alright,
Did
cool.
the keyboard
I'm
change?
announcing it now.
Right.
Can't
Discord.
wait to hear my phone go off. 2.5 seconds.
Oh, new image. Yes, it worked. Cool. Image works. Where's the announcement? Ah.
Alright, Nellen is online. Nellen's gonna be joining.
Yo, wait, what? People
All
are...
right.
Wait, what? I did
Ooh, my
not
frame rate.
expect
My
all these
frame
people
rate.
to join.
Ow.
I'm not sure if streaming does that much good
Yeah,
for
too
your frame
bad.
rate.
Like, don't really have another option. I'm gonna make sure my face
Sadly
is
not.
set to max under my computer. Okay, everything's set up.
I
so-
think I might have to remove 2 accounts. I'm gonna DM you the names of them later and we can decide if we need to delete them. Because I think
Cool.
they're
I'm going to
inappropriate
invite
names.
Nellen.
I'm gonna
Nellen
look
is
for
online.
Bob.
Invite. Alright, I've invited Nellen.
Bob Robot is still offline. Bob Robot will go online any minute.
Yep. Alright, Chaz is getting on. Ooh, come on.
This is
we
actually-
can do this.
This is
Alright.
exciting.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna take care of Chaz. Wait, Nolan is here. Nolan's here.
Nellen's here.
Nearby player menu just showed. Nearby players menu just showed that Nolan's joining.
Hey, so his voice is connecting. Oh, I can taste the lag. Oh, this is gonna be awful for my headset.
You say that as
Jeez.
Nolan just joined in. Hello.
Nolan.
Hey, Nellen.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Good to see you. Glad you could make it.
Oh, how you doing? Thank you.
Also, sorry you had
Good
to
to be-
stay up this late.
How was your
I
day?
just couldn't do this at like 9
No, it's fine.
in the morning my time.
That's alright.
But yeah,
Yeah,
welcome.
some
We'll be starting
things
in
in
just a
CV
minute
are
here. We're waiting for everyone to show up. But yeah. So I guess we can turn on the intermission music. Yeah.
Why is my
let me-
game lagging? This is weird. My game's sort of laggy.
You think your game is lagging? My screen is tearing.
Hey, music volume doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
not for this,
this-
because we...
No, this isn't mapped to music. This is just mapped to nothing.
We forgot to map it. Our
But
bug.
we didn't.
We
I
were in a
intentionally
rush.
didn't map it.
Okay, I thought it was a bug, but okay.
Nope, I did
don't
it
know.
on purpose. Alright,
Okay,
we have
well,
one
that might
viewer
have-
on
too
YouTube,
late.
we have one viewer on Twitch. Hello, hello. Let me actually get the chats up for the Q&A.
Raven, I don't want you crashing.
Yeah, hold on. I don't have time to crash, so...
Ooh, compensation real life. Oh, let's go. It's Sky Plays
I
and
don't
What's
have
Up for
time.
free.
To crash, so... Alright, what's is in chat?
Right.
Good to see you, Sky. Good to see you in chat.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
I
Bob,
actually have
hello
no idea
Bob.
what I look like. I
Hello.
haven't adjusted my character at all.
Alright, let me pull up chat.
Bob is on stage. We have a new special guest, guys.
Alright, invite Bob.
Bob
Good to
Robot.
see you,
Very
What's?
cool.
We will be starting here in just a minute. I just have some stuff to finish up, in-game.
Hey, Bob.
Let me put chat
How do
on
I
my
open my
wrist.
specific... Wait. I'm the one who's
Raven,
supposed to
quick
know.
question for you. I have a question for PC
What?
VR players. Why
No.
wouldn't the game launch? Why when I click the game executable did it launch Discord and then refuse to launch? Unless I kept
Because
Discord
Leon,
open?
that's actually Leon's thing, because the Discord plugin for some reason requires that Discord be open. I have no idea why, and I don't care, to be honest.
Don't act like I know. I don't know why the
You're the
Discord
one that
up
installed it.
plugin
You're running
sucks.
an i3 7100.
I don't know why
Discord
it
is 20%
sucks.
of your
Shush your
CPU,
mouth.
okay?
That sounds like a
So-
skill issue.
Right, don't be so rude. We're live.
Yeah, but it's also Bob
Anyway,
Robot,
hi,
who's a
Nolan.
developer, so I can be
I
rude.
can't hear you.
Hello.
I don't know.
You
Oh,
can't?
now I hear you. Perfect. No, now I can.
Okay,
You just weren't talking
great.
again.
Alright, who's in chat? Oh, hey, back. It's good to see you. Alright, what's Sky? Good to see y'all. We're gonna be starting here in just a minute. Alright. So, looks like just about everyone is here. I'm gonna make sure Chaz is doing okay. Leon, actually, can you check on Chaz? I'm kind of reaching hardware saturation
Oh.
at this point.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, don't overload your system.
Trust me, I already am. Alright. So,
Okay, so
we're gonna go
for
ahead and get
people-
started
Bob,
here.
you should check your
Um,
Discord.
is
Chaz
everyone
is
just about ready,
online.
okay?
Okay, I'm gonna invite Chaz. I invited Chaz.
So as you may notice, there's no curtains here. You may have seen them in the photo. That's actually, I didn't realize Leon already moved them for some reason. These are actually creation
quick
objects, by
fix.
the way. These are 100% movable. I can't edit them because they are Unity objects, however, they are creation objects. So that's something to keep in mind, is I could delete these, I can rotate them, I can scale them, whatever I want to do, and it will work 100%. So, sadly, this whole map isn't made in the creation tools. I would love if that were true, but I can't do it at the moment. We just don't have the capability. But that's the goal at some point, is to be able to make stuff like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, let's start with just a basic explanation. So, hi, I'm Bubby. I'm pretty much the main developer behind the creation tools here. And this is my passion, this is my thing, is UGC. So, if you have any questions, forward them to me after the stream, or during the Q&A. So, my background is from Rec Room, and a little in VR chat, but not so much. I've never done any
Hi,
actual
Chaz.
creation there. But one of my favorite parts about Rec Room is the ability to just create things while you're playing the game at runtime. And that's really stuck with me, so I wanted to make something similar, but I noticed some things that I really, really wanted that just weren't possible with their implementation of things. So that's why I've created, well, originally CVR, and now the creation tools. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, just a quick explanation, right? Our first topic is going to be, well, what makes this different? What makes it different from just basic shapes, right? CVR creation tools aren't made out of primitives. They are made out of what are called game objects, which are the same as objects in Unity. That means you are directly interfacing with the engine itself. But everything is working at runtime. That means there's no editor, nothing on PC. Everything here is 100% functional, even on standalone like Quest 1 and Quest 2. That is a guarantee. So, what makes that difficult? Well, in Unity, you can say just import a material, import a texture, whatever you want. You're making a game. In CVR, it's different because things are A, networked, and B, it all has to be done without accessing, say, things like assets, where you have to import and synchronize that. So we have to make our own pipeline for importing things like assets. For example, at a certain point, we are going to work on a custom texture system, and when we do that, we have to make sure that they're on our servers, not on the local machine, because it's just not possible to synchronize those between machines effectively. So, what can you put on a game object? The most basic game object is just an empty object without what's called a mesh, and all it does is synchronize its position, rotation, and scale. That is it. That is what we refer to as an empty game object. The next step up from that is the most basic thing you can currently create in CVR. Where is my palette? Hold on. I need to move something.
There you go, Sky.
Alright, let me just...
I also,
This is just gonna take just a minute. I just need to
hey, can I interrupt for
here.
a second?
reset position. Cool. So, sorry about that. That was just something I needed to reset. We're fixing that. It's just occasionally the palette will be a little bit too far from the player. There we go. So, palette, you can't see the palette or the creation tool or the UI. because they're all local. That's for performance reasons and just because we didn't want to have to synchronize everything. So you will be able to see the effects of what I'm doing, but you will only actually truly be able to see what I'm doing when you do it yourself, really. So let's go with the most basic possible object you can create in CVR. This is just a basic mesh. We'll get to that term in a moment. And it's a plane, or a quad. So as you can see, you should be able to see, I believe.
Yeah,
This is a plane.
there you go.
A plane consists of a single face, a quad, which is made up of 4 control points and 4 edges. Those edges are then connected to form a face. So, a face is this flat part you see right here. It's fairly... Okay, I should actually move this to where the camera can see. A face is this flat part right here. So, it's the part with the checkerboard on it. In Rec Room, I'm going to use this example a lot, is Rec Room. In Rec Room, when you create an object like this, you could do this, right? It would be a cube, and you just scale it down to be minuscule, just absolutely as tiny as possible. But you're never going to get this level of simplicity. It's always going to have extra geometry that isn't really necessary. But what we can do with this is what really sets us apart from other creation systems is what I am about to do. Oh, wait, I forgot that's bugged. This is an issue with the quad, I swear. It's just the quad. But I'll use a cube, for example.
Quad's weird.
So you can see this cube, right? If I were to select one of these control points, a control point is also known as a vertex. You may know that in game development or modeling. Each of these little corners is called a vertex. Those vertices are then linked into faces, which are, again, the flat parts. And what we can do is, in most games, you would modify this just by scaling it, right? What we can do is move individual vertices. As you can see, this, again, I'll use the example of Rec Room. In Rec Room, this would be at least 2 shapes, if not more. In CVR, this is just 1 shape. If I were to move this vertex down, that's even more complexity, but it's all still the same shape. So, what I can also do, this is another major feature that you won't really see all that often, is axis-independent scaling. In games like Rec Room, the scaling is linked. That's what we use the term for. I don't know the actual term. The scaling is linked, as in, when you scale on one axis, you are forced by the engine to scale on every other axis uniformly. You can't stretch things. In CVR, if I want to, I can just do that. And it just works. It's known as axis independent because each axis is independent of all the others. That's one of the nice things is, if I were to spawn, say, what I can also do is spawn a couch from the lounge. If I want this to be longer, I just make it longer. Oh. There we go. My Quest battery is low, so I need to plug it in. Hold on one moment.
Oh, that's not good.
So this allows for a lot more diversity in what you can make, because, see, I can just make this longer, and it works. If I want this to be fatter, I just squish it down. It's that simple. Now, a more complex example of this is with another shape I'll use. The Taurus. Now, Nexus isn't here, but I know if he were here, he'd be cheering right now, because this is a primitive that was his profile picture at one point. Can you all see this okay, by the way?
I think the lighting's a bit weird because on the builder, lighting's a bit more dim than an editor.
Alright, but this should be a
There you go.
checkerboard pattern for you, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so what I can do with axis-independent scaling is I can just make this longer, and it just works. If I want this to be,
Big
say, a
donut.
disc, like a CD, I can just make it into a CD. I can delete it now. And what really, really excites me about this system is truly accurate colliders. Now, you have worked with tools in Rec Room for almost any period of time. You will know about the woes of Rec Room colliders. I'll use the Taurus again as an example. If I spawn this in Rec Room, and I land on it, it works, right? But what happens if I want to go through the center? Do you know what happens? In Rec Room, for performance reasons, I use box. Just a box collider. In CVR... Oh, wait, my game lagged. I'm having some issues because I'm streaming, but I can just go through. It's a collider. It's 100% physically
If any
accurate
of
to
you guys wanna
exactly what
try
you
that, I'm
see.
just gonna-
That is another guarantee.
There you
Okay.
go, I just found a Taurus for the
I want
audience.
the opportunity to try circle.
Oh wow.
To enjoy jumping through circle.
Circle.
Circle is
Yay.
best.
I just spawned a Taurus for the audience so they can try
I
that.
noticed.
Circle.
So, pool floating, but
Circle.
Alright, I'll
You
be
can see-
removing that.
Circle.
it just works,
Spin
right?
me right round.
Circle.
So, what else can we do with this? Let's say, for example, I'll use a cube. Maybe. There we go. Now, if I edit this, in Rec Room, this is as low as you can go. This is the simplest thing you can make in Rec Room. It's a cube. If I want to get any more complexity than this, I need to use multiple shapes if I'm in Rec Room. In CVR, if I want to, say, add a ramp to the side of this, let's say this is a building, all I have to do is extrude. And there we go. Now, you may notice this is a triangle. That's because faces, currently, we are actually converting this, are triangles. So each quad you see here is actually split into two triangles. In the future, and actually on some models right now, that does not apply. These will just be singular faces. That's just something to consider. This, again, is physically accurate. I can walk up and down it perfectly fine. In fact, if you want to test it,
So
I'll
can
move it
other
out there.
players?
If you want to move around on it, you can test the gliders. It works. The stream can't see you, just so you're aware.
Oh, wow.
But it does work.
Weird parallelogram. Actually, no, that is a shape.
So, what else
There's
can we do
also
with
a
this?
spear if you guys want
Have
one.
you ever had... You may remember a few months
Spear.
ago
Here.
in
Can
Rec Room,
sphere
there
be
was
grabbable?
a exploit
No.
that allowed you to make inverted
yet.
cubes.
Cool.
Um,
Not yet. Okay.
now that exploit was extremely useful, except you couldn't make colliders with it, because again, tubes were just made out of sphere colliders. What we can do, maybe, if I spawn a cube, and scale it up, let's say I want to make a room, right? I want to make a room in the shape of a cube. In Rec Room, you would need 6 cubes just for a basic hollow cube. But in CVR, if I... Hold on. Maybe. There we go. If I go into face mode, and I do this, you'll see in just a minute what I'm doing.
It looks like the faces are being deleted, but actually something else is happening.
So, as you can see, this cube, you should be able to see, at least, this cube is inverted. Just like that, we've made a
Wow.
room without any extra effort than flipping those
Inverted
vertices.
cube?
Those faces, I'm sorry. In Rec Room, this would have taken significantly longer because you need to clone and recreate every single side of this room. And it's see-through from the outside because these normals, or these faces, only render from the front. That saves on performance because we don't need to render every single face of every single side of the cube.
Hey, is it okay if I just quickly make a little example for the audience? Just
Yeah,
real
sure.
quick.
You can do that while I'm preparing the next example.
Alright.
What
So today we're building a room.
Now, if you're tuned into the Rec Room creation community, you'll probably know about Object Model. That is a system for linking objects together. There's more to it than this, but for simplification, it's a system for linking objects together without the need for special tools like clamps, which are gizmos in the game that allow you to link objects together.
Wait, so
In
if
CVR,
so if I go
I
in the
developed
cube,
personally.
everything goes filled.
Let's say I want 2 objects to be linked. Seems like a simple task, right?
It's like I'm being
In Rec Room, you would need a completely
back to
separate third object
me
for this.
being like
You would need
Building
what's
this
called a
right
clamp.
now. Oh, that's just
What I can do here, let's say I want it to be so that way when I move this sphere, I want this cube to move alongside it. Right now it doesn't do that. Now let's say I want, in Rec Room I would need to spawn a clamp right here. In CVR, I go to what's called the hierarchy menu, which is a direct representation of the actual Unity hierarchy, again, interfacing directly with the engine. I can click the Set Parent button, and I click on the cube. Now if I move the cube, the sphere moves alongside it. I could invert this, I could switch it so that way the sphere is the child of the cube. If you're not familiar with these terms, parent is a game development term for an object that controls the transform, such as the position, rotation, and scale, of its child objects. A parent can have multiple children, but a child cannot have multiple parents. For the record, that is in game development terms. I should point that out. What we will show off next is another thing that may have irritated some people working with the Rec Room creation tools, maybe. It's taking me a minute. Now, if you're familiar with the Rec Room creation tools, you'll know that to have a different material, part of an object, it has to be 100% separate. So, if I want a cube to have a different material, I need to make a separate cube to have a different material. Now, for example's sake, I'll go into my material menu and make a second material that is bright red. Okay, that's already good. And now, if I want, I need to switch to the recolor tool. Maybe? I didn't switch materials. There we go. Boom. It's that simple. Purple grass on one face. It's that simple. There's nothing more to it.
Why is grass purple?
Because funny
Now,
colors.
let's say I want to change the color of this grass,
It is
right?
CVR color.
That seems like a really simple task. In games like Rec Room, you're limited
On
to
square.
simply a palette. There are
I
preset
am
colors
God.
that you are limited to, and you have to use those colors. There's no other way. In CVR,
Sorry, I'm
let's say I want to
accidentally
change this
editing.
grass to be green. Maybe. I can directly adjust the RGB values.
Oh, I like this brick texture.
Okay, that's
The brick
strange,
texture
my-
looks really good.
Here's a little
As you can
example
see-
for you guys.
What I can do in this
I like
case
texture.
is just
It's
change...
great.
Okay, my material color picker isn't working. I'm probably getting a ton of errors right now. Might actually be because two people are editing it at the same time. But as you can see, I can change the texture, like so, and I can change the color, just like...
Wow.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually going to check something. That should not be happening. Okay. I'm
Not
having an
problem.
issue right now, but for the record... Okay, actually, Leon, do you want to real quickly change the color of custom material 1 to just whatever you want?
Alright, sure, I can try.
And tell me if it works for you? For the record, this does
yeah,
work
just
normally.
turn blue.
Alright, there we go.
It just
So
turned
you
blue
can
for
make
me.
this any color you want within the RGB spectrum. It's that simple. You just change 3 sliders. Now, let's say I want glass. This is actually part of the reason for CVR existing, but that's a story for later. Is we want a transparent material on this, right? Should be pretty simple, right? We just want glass. So, in CVR, we just switch the shader to transparent and turn down the alpha. That is the opacity, or opacity as it were, of this. Okay, Leon, you're gonna need to change that again, because for some reason
Custom
my,
material 1.
yeah, custom material
Yeah,
1,
so-
turn the alpha to about 50%. I'm having some issues on my end right now.
There
That's
we
probably
go.
because I'm working in the editor, not in a build. But for the record, this does all work the same in a build.
Does
And
this
as you
show
can
up
see,
for
we
you?
have glass, just like that.
Yeah.
Now, this is real. And as you can see, this is a perfect example of how the back faces, the faces behind this, aren't rendered. These faces, I can see them right here, because they're facing me. But they're not facing you, so you can't see them. Let's say I want to fix that. Just like with getting the room to face the right way, it's just a matter of flipping the normals. And see, just like that, it displays. So
That's
this is
a
a
bit
really
weird.
powerful
It's
feature,
rendering
is the
weirdly for
ability
me.
to just change colors on the fly, 100% accurate. And that combined with the ability to directly modify the object, which also modifies the colliders, just provides a huge amount of flexibility. Along the lines of flexibility, let's say you don't want to use our tools. let's say you want to make a room, and you want to import something that's really complicated. And so you don't want to have to model it by hand because it'll take hours and hours and hours. So what I can do, if you give me a moment to type this out, is I can use a special tool in our palette menu under the Actions menu, and I can do something that is unprecedented in games other than I think Neos has this. And that is, I can import an Obj file. Okay, apparently I have an issue on my end. For the record, this does work.
We did
This
try
reminds me of
multiple
that
times and it
Windows
worked
blue
fine.
screen thing. Okay. Okay.
It's the issue.
Okay. Let me make sure the path is right. There we
Sorry
go.
if this is,
I'd like you to say
Okay.
hello to our friend Suzanne. This is Suzanne. She's a monkey, and she was made in Blender, 100% just by spawning a primitive in Blender. I then exported her as an OBJ file, and now I have imported her successfully into CVR. If I want, I can scale this model independently on any axis. If I want to stretch, if I want to squish, anything I want to do, I can now modify this mesh 100%. Now, what we're going to do is introduce a system called CVR+. Now, if you don't use CVR+, your mesh will turn to dust as soon as you try to edit it. For the record, that is a joke. We're not actually implementing that. But it turns to a cube if you
These
edit it
exploitative
without
marketing technique.
fix we're rolling out. Hello, Kronko. Good to see you. We're
Hello?
actually
Hello.
about to hit the Q&A section,
Hi.
but does that all make sense to all of you? This is,
Yeah.
especially the mesh editing system, is entirely 100% unprecedented in the VR and in multiplayer. It hasn't been done. This is a completely new system. And
The closest system is actually Neos VR, in fact. I think.
And even Neos, as far as I'm aware, doesn't actually have a mesh editor yet. It's only importing models, which is fine. But if you're on Quest, a standalone platform, or if you just have a computer or you don't have Blender, then what do? You have to make it with primitives. In CVR, you just make it the same as you would in Blender. Obviously, we don't have the toolset of Blender yet, but the point is still it's still very powerful compared to something where you're building it out of cubes and spheres. That, combined with the ability to use colliders, just completely physically accurate, is probably one of the defining things about this creation system. So on that note, we're going to be accepting questions now from chat and in-game. If you don't have a mic in-game, you can go to your watch and then click chat. It's on the right, and it will display over your head, so you don't need to worry about us reading it. We will see it. And let me check, actually on what the stream chat is saying. Alright,
Am I supposed to raise my hand?
yes, we are going, so I'm going to start answering what's questions because I didn't realize you've been asking questions, sorry. So, first things first, have you taken any
How do I go on
inspiration?
push to talk?
We don't. Sorry, we don't have that implemented right now.
You can
Oh.
turn
Just
off your
turn on
mic
and off
in
with
the
transmit mic.
audio settings. So, first off, from the stream chat on YouTube, is what's up, Bo3? Have you taken any inspiration from any land for your creation tools? I have not. Leon may have told me about something from Anyland. I don't actually. I vaguely remember what Anyland is, but I haven't taken any inspiration from it, to be honest. If I could lower the FOV, that'd be great.
Don't recall anything about any land.
Yeah, give me just a second, Watts. I will lower the FOV real quickly. It's currently at, I think, 120,
guess-
so
I
it
got a
makes sense.
question.
Sure, go ahead.
The movement feels a lot like Horizon Worlds. Do you plan on making it like smoother?
I think we can try. I think, aren't we working on some stuff that redoes XR interaction like that?
Okay.
Yeah, but that's mainly grabbing. I think they're talking about like the locomotion system.
Yeah.
The lo-
Yeah. So yeah.
Alright,
Yeah,
Watts,
I
is
think we
that
can-
better for you? That field
Oh.
of view.
We'll work something out to make it smoother. Alright, that's gonna go on the checklist. Make movement better.
Okay. So, so next up is from What's Up Row 3. Are we going to see union and more importantly, negate tools? Yes. We actually used to have full CSG support, so booleans, like you may see in modifiers in Blender. And that is the ability to cut into objects using other objects. Before I keep going, Nolan?
Can you talk a bit more about texturing for object faces? Namely, will there be texture scaling support or rotation? What would that look like in the future?
Yes, that is actually one of the things I am doing next in the next update for our Creative Tools beta members. Is I am working on a UV editor, so you'll be able to fully edit the UVs just like you would in Blender. And I'm also working on custom texture support, so any image you upload to our API, you will be able to use as a texture in-game. Even ones with an alpha layer, so transparency, and that's a whole host of things. It means you can make decals, anything you like, really. Sky? Yes.
Is there gonna be any like props like in Rec Room? Like
Sorry?
for example?
Yes, indeed there are actually. He's asking about props like
yes,
chairs. Which by the way, we already have 2 of them. They just don't really work that well.
Yeah, the
They're kind
rotate
of
tool is a
rotated
bit broken at the
weirdly.
moment, so we can't really fix the rotation of this, but yes, we do have props.
Props not
Anything we can make in Unity, we can technically make into a prop.
Cool.
I can guarantee you that because we use prefabs for props, so anything we can make, we can pretty much make into a prop. If I wanted to make the whole lounge into a prop, the model, obviously, not the lights and all that, I could. It's one prefab, that's it. So, up next on to What's Up, Row 3? Is there a way you can fix your microphone to stop lagging out? I'm not sure why that's happening. It's an OBS issue, I think. That might also be because
No, your
my
game's
game is
also
just...
lagging. So your
Yeah.
mic's also lagging in
Yeah.
game. I think it's just because your hardware.
Yeah, I'm aware.
well,
From Chaz, what color space is the game in? I'm sorry, Explosive PlayStation. What color space is the game in? I believe we are using linear... Yeah, we're using linear on Quest, and I believe we're just using automatic space on Windows. Quest, we were on
actually,
Gamma.
for some textures,
No,
we used RGBA 24-bit because of weird terrain bugs.
That's not the
Unity.
color space of the game. That's the color space of the textures.
Oh, right.
The
My bad, I'm
colors.
sorry.
For a little while, we were on Vulkan, which allowed us to support Gamma, which was significantly better. I will attest that looked so much better than linear. But the thing is, Vulkan caused issues with sampling textures, so the photo camera stopped working, which was a bit awkward. So yeah, on Windows it's automatic, on Quest it is on linear. We do want to switch back to Gamma, but at the moment that's not really doable. Any other Nolan?
Oh, no way, she just started.
Let's say you have a cube and you want to add a new vertice, a new vertex to the cube. What exactly does that look like? If you want to put, say, you've got 2 vertices here and you want to put a vertex here to create some form of like triangle edge or something coming out from the side. How exactly does that work with the creation tools?
So along an edge, like subdividing? Or just completely creating a new vertex? Yeah, that should be doable.
Yeah, well, both, I guess.
I'm not quite sure how I'd go about doing that, but I know for a fact that is possible because we have access to the actual mesh data, the raw mesh of the object. So anything that just modifies the vertices, we could technically do. It's just a matter of actually getting there. For something like subdivision, I'd probably just go with like lerping, just set a vertex halfway between the 2 you specify, and then just pick a point in the middle, set a new vertex. There's a bunch of stuff that I'd need to do math-wise, but that's the basic idea. Yes, we could probably do that.
Alright, I think Sky has another question.
Sky, go ahead.
Is there gonna be like anything like CV1/CV2 stuff?
Yes, we are actually going to be working shortly on a new scripting system called L2SL, which stands for Low Level Scripting Language, which is designed to be a scripting language that's a lot closer to the engine itself as opposed to a layer of abstraction over the game and the engine. So basically it's designed to give a lot more control over what's going on in your game as opposed to simplicity. But yes, that is in the works. I haven't started on the actual system itself, but I am in the planning phase on that. It will take a very long time though, because I want it to be very advanced. I'm going to check Twitch chat real quick for any questions. Okay, no questions in Twitch chat, and no questions in YouTube chat. Any other questions in-game or out of game?
I'm trying to think of one.
Alright, let me actually check what time it is. It is 12:32. Alright, so we've... Nolan, go ahead.
Will players be able to create their own shaders? Because I just remembered you talked about shaders for custom materials. Is that something that players will be able to do with the creation tools in the future? Or will it just be from preset?
I would really love that to be doable, but because Unity compiles shaders at compile time to GPU, to graphics library instructions like OpenGL, Vulkan, things like that, I don't believe it's possible to compile shaders at runtime, so I don't think that's really doable, I'm sorry. But we could, like, say, have community-submitted shaders that then we add to the presets. What we also have planned is, for very, very far in the future, not right now, but there is a way you can compile C# at runtime in a C# build. So what we could do is actually expose an API to people, and you can actually just write scripts for the game. You may be concerned about security, but the thing about this is all the actual things you can access are by whitelist. So you have to I have to specifically add what you can access to this list, otherwise it's completely locked off, so there's no security concerns like sandbox escape or file system access or remote code execution, as it were. But
Yeah, I
that
think the only
actually is
library
something...
should be able to access.
But that is something I'm actually really looking forward to, is the ability to just compile C# at runtime. Because that'll also be helpful for like us developers being able to debug things. But to answer your question, no, not really. We can't really support runtime shader modification that I'm aware of. Any other questions?
I got a question whenever you're ready.
Sure, go ahead.
Alright, so there's gonna be player-made rooms? I'm not,
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, so like, are mature rooms allowed?
I'm planning on... I have kind of planned that out. What my plan is there will be a very, very heavily enforced flag system that requires you to basically tell if a room is mature or, say, has something it really shouldn't. And in that case, then, if you don't add those flags, it will be, then it will get taken down or the flag will be manually added. I have to be right back because I think my mom needs something from me. I will be right back. Okay.
Wait, mother?
Yes.
Isn't
How long
Raven
is
Any other
this
questions?
17 or 18 years old?
All right.
25 minutes.
Oh.
On that note, I think we're gonna go
Jess,
for a
it has
quick
to do a guide of falls.
demonstration of some more creation. So, oh yeah, you can also see what I'm seeing right there. So, what we can actually do real quick is actually spawn some more objects.
How do I rotate?
I would spawn some couches for y'all to sit in, but that's not really an option
That's
right
an
now because the
option,
rotation
though.
on
Yeah,
it
that's an
is
option
a
in
little bit
settings.
weird.
It's
But
off by default because of stick drift.
Yeah.
But what I will do is actually maybe. Oh wait, no, that's not the right shape.
Oh, where did the Taurus go?
And
yeah,
where
I'm
I
just
cannot
spinning.
select that object, thank you. Okay, there we go. Let me scale this up.
Stand up.
Okay. So now what
No,
I'll
I'll turn
do
that off. I
is
can't-
I'll
the secret
flip
is so shit.
these faces. Oh, maybe. There we go. So I'll flip these around. Okay. Now, anyone that goes in there is going to be stuck, just so you're aware. This is now a prison. But if you do go in here, you are stuck in the box. Nice job, Bob.
restart.
Yeah, that also works.
So
Bitch walking.
yeah, that's something you can actually do with normals. Is if you make just for example, a quad, you can actually make like a one-way gate type thing, which is really helpful for things like quests where you want one-way progression. So on that note, I believe that's pretty much everything, Leon. Can you think of anything else we have to show off?
No, I wouldn't think so.
All right, nice. Then I'm going to do one last thing to show off, and that is move the curtains to close them, because we can do that.
Bro got an emoji.
Alright,
in
there we
his
go.
nickname.
Bloop.
No way.
And yeah, I'll turn on the animation music.
Don't look at my bio.
All right, so that is just about it. It
My
has been
bio's
great
going
to
to my
see
bio.
such a
My
great
bio's
turnout from this.
Suspicious.
But on that note, I think we are about done. So thanks for attending, and I will see you all later. I really hope I can see you in game at some point.
Chaz, give me a tour, bro.
But yeah, I'd really love to see some of y'all in
Chaz,
game.
show me the
Feel
room
free
that
to
you made
add,
with Ralph Say
anyone here.
twerking.
If you like, just click on their profile and you can send a friend request or whatever you like.
Right.
So on that note, thanks for attending, and yeah, guess it's social
Damn,
time
I'm
now.
late. I missed it.
Get out my charger.
Oh,
I can't do a thumbs up. Literally unusual.
damn,
game.
dude.
I'm going to die.
Dude, I'm like literally Kodak right now.
Bro, why do I always hear that sound in my mom's bedroom?
Yo, hey. Oh.
Dude, I tried joining on
Yeah.
PCVR and it didn't work. It was like, is
I
this on
see
App
you.
Lab? And it didn't.
Alright, thanks for stopping that, Leon, by the way.
Why is it just a
Alright,
camera?
so yeah, there we go.
Hello.
Because camera.
I'm going to stop recording.
Awesome, awesome
You said it
stuff.
wasn't available on Apple.
Really, really exciting.
Oh, I didn't
tried
realize I was still
to
on
download
the
the game on
camera.
PCVR and I couldn't find it.
What are these
There we go.
symbols?
Alright,
Put up.
It's on the
I can look at the symbols really
It's
quickly.
on the
on that
Oh, the
note,
flowers,
it has
okay.
been great